Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Lots of sunshine for your Friday. Warm temperatures as well. We'll have chances for isolated showers into the weekend. I'll let you know when to expect those coming up.
Drugged dessert. New information this noon about the Surrey County Elections Chair charged with drugging 2 teens.
An NCCU memorial. Students gathered today to honor a student who was shot and killed by her boyfriend.
It is summer's last hurrah. A record-breaking number of Americans are heading off for the long Labor Day weekend. You're looking live at I-40 at Jones Sausage Road. And those taking I-40 east to the southern beaches will find themselves with plenty of company. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Renee Chu.
I'm Chris Levinger. Thank you so much for joining us. RDU International expects about 200,000 passengers to pass through those TSA lines this weekend. And we have sunny skies and warm temperatures to start the weekend.
Grant Skinner is live in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Grant, a few showers on the way, but those should not put any damper on any Labor Day weekend plans.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome weekend ahead. Tons of sunshine throughout the weekend, so enjoy it. Some chances for some isolated showers, but I think overall that rain chance will stay pretty minimal. Today, temperatures reaching the mid to upper 80s, so warmer than yesterday and less cloud cover overall. You can see it outside. Tons of blue skies. We'll have tons of sunshine all the way through this evening. Here's a view from Southern Pines. There may be a couple of clouds out there. That's about it. Otherwise, blue skies, comfortable temperatures as well, sitting in the 80s already into this afternoon. 80 in Raleigh, 83 in Fayetteville, 81 Rocky Mount, 77 degrees in Roxborough. And I mentioned a warmer day today. We're already at 80 degrees, likely pushing into the mid to upper 80s by the time we hit 3 o'clock. Then by 7, 8 p.m. into the mid 70s. So still warm through the evening, but cooling off just a bit by 11, 12, 1 a.m. into the morning in the upper 60s. We'll talk more about some cooler temperatures on the way after our cold front passes, and also that brief shower chance. We'll time it out on Futurecast. That's coming up.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, an update to a story that we brought you earlier this morning, a fight on NC State's campus. It happened early this morning around 1:50 a.m. Police have confirmed there was a fight. NC State University police responded to Pillsbury Circle and Brooks Drive. They say 4 East Carolina University students were engaged in an altercation with 2 NC State students. The fight prompted a heavy police presence and first responder presence on Founders Drive. Now, all individuals involved in this fight were charged with misdemeanor affray. Officers say the ECU students were trespassing on NC State's campus. They say the investigation is ongoing and additional charges are possible.
Michelle, thanks. New information about a Surrey County elections official accused of putting drugs in ice cream he bought for his granddaughter and her friend. The Wilmington Police Department shared an update on their investigation at 10 this morning. WRAL's Ken Smith is here now with the new information we've learned about this. Ken.
And Renee, this morning we got a little bit more detailed information about the young ladies who were with James Oakley at that Dairy Queen in Wilmington. Wilmington police answered questions from the media this morning about their investigation. Investigators say the girls were Oakley's 16-year-old step-granddaughter and her 15-year-old friend. They went to that Dairy Queen with Oakley. Now, police say he bought a Blizzard ice cream treat for each teen, and surveillance video from that restaurant showed him putting a pill in each one before leaving.
Due to concerns, fear, panic, if you will, made the decision to pull in there. So we think that decision was probably made by the juveniles to go to the gas station since they saw an ambulance or paramedic vehicle there.
Yeah, police believe the girls were probably feeling the effects of what may have been in their ice cream. Now, Lieutenant Willard says it was the paramedics who eventually flagged down police officers. They did not field a test on the 2 pills and determined compounds were found within them that are consistent with MDA and cocaine. A lab is testing the drugs for an official determination. By the way, the young ladies are now safe and back with their families. Oakley is out of jail on bond, yesterday resigning from his position as chairman of the Surrey County Board of Elections. In his resignation letter, Oakley said he is confident he will be exonerated. His next court appearance is set for September 11th.
Significant new details in that story. Thank you, Ken. NC Central students will honor one of their own today. 20-year-old London Powers was shot and killed this month, and family members say she's the victim of domestic violence. Let's bring in Monica Casey. She's live on campus this afternoon. Monica, that memorial for her starts in less than an hour.
Yeah, London Powers was a member of the University Honors Program here at NC Central University with a goal of earning a Master of Social Work focused on adolescent mental health. Now, Powers was from Washington, D.C. She had recently been elected to the event coordinator role for NC Central's Social Work Society for this upcoming school year. She was also set to start an internship at the Durham Center for Senior Life. Now, Powers' mother tells WRAL she was the victim of domestic violence. She says her daughter was going to the Camden Point apartments to pick up her things when 23-year-old Damian Tinsley killed her and himself. Durham police have confirmed Tinsley had an outstanding warrant for his arrest at the time of that shooting. Friends of Powers remember her as sweet and hardworking and passionate about a career in social work. Her celebration of life starts at 1 o'clock here on campus. Live in Durham, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Federal investigators say writings and social media posts by the Minnesota shooter expressed racial, political, and religious hate. Law enforcement officers are searching for a motive to the heinous mass shooting at Annunciation Catholic Church. Extensive journal writings by the 23-year-old killer reveal evidence of hate toward nearly all people, a twisted desire for self-notoriety, as well as a desire to see children suffer.
More than anything, the shooter wanted to kill children, defenseless children. In short, the shooter wanted to watch children suffer.
A former Annunciation employee tells NBC News the shooter was often sent to the principal's office for disciplinary discussions. In the Journal, Robin Westman wrote, "I wonder if there is any staff there who would remember me." The former employee adding that the shooter's mother worked at Annunciation and had talked about her child coming out as transgender and identifying as a girl.
2 homes were damaged during a fire in Johnston County this morning, and this happened on Greenfield Lane. That's in the Flowers Plantation community just before 2 o'clock this morning. Ali Kadlubar was there in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker and says one home was a total loss.
Yes, that fire tore through this house behind me. You can see straight through it from one side to the other. We have multiple angles showing the fire's impact, taking you overhead from Sky 5. There's a gaping hole where the fire spread throughout the house. Our Drone 5 video gives us a closer look. The fire left nothing untouched. Northside Fire and Rescue says it jumped from that home to a neighbor's around 2 a.m.
It was terrifying. It just was seconds. It wasn't even minutes, it was seconds.
That neighbor, Deborah Hendricks, says she woke up seeing an orange glow.
I saw my fence literally burn, just melt in front of me. And the siding was bubbling up on my house, so I knew I only had just a little while to get the dogs and get out.
This is the side of Hendrick's home. You can see that vinyl, it's warped and the side is damaged. The woman who lives inside this home and her dog got out safely. The cat has not been found. We're working to find out the cause of this fire. Reporting in Johnston County, Ali Kadlubar, WRAL News.
Newly revealed arrest warrants say that the driver at fault in a head-on crash in Raleigh this week had open alcohol containers in his car. Now, that crash happened Monday night on Falls of Neuse Road. Police say that 45-year-old Juan Carlos Barrera Aragon crossed that center line and then hit another car. He died on scene, and the driver of the other car, at last check, is in the hospital in critical condition.
Today, many plan to head out of town for the long weekend. Now, if your plans include a road trip, there's good news. In Raleigh, an average gallon of regular gas will cost you $2.94 a gallon. That's just slightly lower than Wilmington's average at $2.95 if you're headed to the coast. And for anyone going down to Myrtle Beach, gas there will cost you $2.80 a gallon. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey explains what travelers should expect as they hit the road.
The summer travel season is coming to an end. Thousands of drivers will be hitting the road here on I-40 for their Labor Day weekend destinations. AAA is warning drivers about heavy traffic going into this weekend. Saturday is expected to be the busiest travel day. AAA says the best time to leave is between 6 and 10 in the morning. The worst time to leave is any time after that until 6 p.m.
So if your travel plans allow you to leave earlier in the day, that's when you're going to have, probably the least amount of congestion, but it's going to be crowded out there. Let's face it, especially in your big metro areas, especially around tourist attractions, around airports.
These are some of the top Labor Day travel destinations on the East Coast, according to AAA. Orlando, New York, Boston, Atlanta, and Miami. Your Labor Day weekend trip may be a little bit cheaper this year. AAA says hotel rates are down 11% and car rentals are 3% cheaper than this same time last year. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
And we can help you plan your Labor Day weekend. Check out WRAL.com for last-minute trip ideas, things to do here in the Triangle, as well as track the forecast and look at the traffic cameras. It is all on the WRAL News app. Search Labor Day. Next at noon, volcanic lava flow show. A closer look at the volcano lighting up the sky in Italy.
And Katrina, 20 years later, how a community is still healing from that devastating storm along the Gulf Coast.
Plus, pressure washer recall, the danger you could be exposed to, and how you can get a free fix.
Coming up next, sea storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000, sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
We are following some breaking news in the WRAL Live Center. 2 people are hurt after a small plane went down in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. This is a live look. If you see right here, this is where the plane is, right near a neighborhood. New Smyrna Beach is about an hour north of Orlando, right on the coast. This happened about 10:30 this morning. They say 2 people were on board at the time of the crash. Both were transported to a hospital. All of the area roads, you can see some cars getting through there, but most of the roads around this are shut down. Yellow police tape around that plane. Again, New Smyrna Beach, Florida. 2 people in the hospital after this small plane crash.
Michelle, thanks. Labor Day impacts how some Americans dress and what we eat. According to the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council, Labor Day marks the unofficial end of hot dog season. You know, between Memorial Day and Labor Day, Americans consume about 7 billion hot dogs. And while times are changing, some people refuse to wear white after Labor Day. Where did that custom even originate? Well, the idea comes from when the upper class would return from their summer vacations and stow away their lightweight white summer clothes as they return back to school and work. Well, now people basically just wear what they want when they want. Which brings us to our question of the day. Would you wear white after Labor Day? Share your voice right now by scanning the QR code on the screen or head to WRAL.com/yourvoice. We will share the results before the end of this newscast.
Explosive activity from Mount Etna is lighting up the sky in Sicily. Check this out right here. You can see the lava coming out there. Authorities closed areas near that volcano because increased activity was detected. Drone video captured streams of glowing orange lava just oozing down its slopes in various formations. Mount Etna is the largest active volcano in Europe. A group of scientists, writers, and web developers are working to preserve key climate data. In May, President Trump signed an executive order which eliminated policies set in place by former President Biden. The order removed a landmark congressionally mandated report on greenhouse gases and El Nino from the website climate.gov. The new website, climate.us, will be a nonprofit organization focused on preserving science-based data.
20 years ago today, Hurricane Katrina made landfall along the Gulf Coast, decimating New Orleans. The Crescent City is holding a number of remembrances today to mark the anniversary. Priscilla Thompson shows us how the community is recovering.
A solemn day in the Big Easy,
which, as we well know, was 20 years ago.
New Orleans marking the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, when more than 1,300 people died. Today, honoring victims and survivors with a traditional second line, the music and the people marching on. 20 years to the day after the Category 3 storm overtook the levees, 80% of the city was flooded. Unforgettable images of water up to rooftops. A days-long rescue operation. Residents seeking refuge at the convention center and the Superdome.
It was horrible.
More than 1 million people across the Gulf Coast were displaced. 2 decades later, tourism has rebounded. The city even hosted the Super Bowl earlier this year, and some neighborhoods have emerged stronger than before. But outside of the tourist areas, scars from the flood lay bare. This is what the hardest hit Lower Ninth Ward looks like today. Army General Russell Honore commanded the relief effort here all those years ago.
Doorstep still there, but no house.
Yeah, symbolic. It gives a marker that there's somebody in this property that's going to come back.
That's what you see when you see that. Somebody's coming back.
Somebody's coming back.
Criticism over the federal response led to a strengthening of the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Though recent budget cuts prompted nearly 200 FEMA employees to release an open letter warning of the potential for another Katrina-like disaster. This month, a mural unveiled, honoring the community where the levee in the Lower Ninth broke.
What do you see when you look around here?
I see opportunity. Come in, get you a lot, build a house, love your neighbors, and come back home.
Do you think this community will ever come back?
I think the opportunity is there, yeah.
So much heartbreak and so much resilience. Later at 12:30, meteorologist Amy Wilmoth takes a closer look at Katrina's path of destruction and the multiple landfalls in the Gulf.
Yeah, significantly quieter on the coast and even where we are here in North Carolina, Grant. And a nice Labor Day weekend as people are headed out, including to the beach.
It's very nice. Warmer today. Highs in the mid-80s for most spots, some spots in the upper 80s. Also tracking a small rain chance this weekend, but most places will be dry. By Labor Day, plenty of sunshine, highs at around 80 degrees. It's going to be a very comfortable start to next week. Here's a view outside right now. This is from Warrenton. Tons of blue sky. Can't see any cloud cover right now. This has been the story throughout this morning. The clouds moved out earlier today, and we've had plenty of sunshine throughout the morning, and that will continue all the way through this evening. Temperatures already at around 80 degrees, though, because of all that sunshine. 77 degrees in Roxborough, but 80 in Raleigh, 83 in Fayetteville. Goldsboro's at 80 degrees. Rocky Mount sitting at 81 degrees right now. Throughout this afternoon, highs will push into the mid to upper 80s across the area. So 88 Fayetteville, 86 in Raleigh, 86 Rocky Mount, 84 this afternoon in Roxborough. South Hill will hit 84 degrees as well. For Football Friday, things are looking great. Rain chances staying out of the picture. This is a 10% rain chance here, but that will stay very, very minimal throughout the rest of the evening. 76 by 9 p.m., 11 p.m. at 72 degrees, and a mild night overnight tonight. We'll have mostly clear skies. Temperatures by tomorrow morning still comfortable, but a bit warmer thanks to this approaching front. It's going to bring in some more warmth and more moisture will stay in place. 65 to start your day tomorrow in Raleigh, Goldsboro at 64 degrees, 65 Southern Pines, South Hill. You'll start at 61 for your Saturday. This weekend, our next weather makers, a chance for some isolated showers this weekend with a front to the south. That'll bring in some south winds. That'll bring in some more moisture across our area. And also a cold front will move slowly from northwest to southeast. It'll eventually fizzle out. It'll bring us some cooler temperatures, but also a small rain chance this weekend. So here's that rain chance on Futurecast. You'll see scattered cloud cover builds into the afternoon tomorrow. Isolated showers and storms, primarily closer to the Sandhills and to the south and east. Later in the day tomorrow, a few more isolated showers and storms, but this is not going to be a widespread rain event. It's just going to be some isolated showers, mainly to the south and to the south and east, and mainly just scattered cloud cover for the rest of the area. Into Sunday, more of the same. Just some brief showers, a 20% rain chance by then. The best chance for isolated showers on Saturday, high of 84 degrees tomorrow, so a bit cooler once that cold front passes. Look at Sunday and then Labor Day. 80 degrees by Labor Day, and it's going to be cooler into next week, even cooler air by the time we get to Tuesday, into the upper 70s by the afternoon. Look at the morning, Tuesday morning, into the 50s again for the morning. So it's going to feel very comfortable in the middle portion of next week. For Labor Day, looking great, 80 degrees, drier. Now watching Wednesday into Thursday, our next front approaches. It'll bring a better chance for showers and storms and warmer temperatures. But for now, we're going to enjoy Labor Day weekend. Warmer today, cooling off again, and get a small rain chance this weekend, but it shouldn't put a damper on your plans.
You will not hear any complaints from us. Looks fabulous. Grant, thank you. Coming up on WRAL News at 4 p.m., Johnston County commissioners would like to get daily passenger trains going from Raleigh to Charlotte to extend to Selma with the stop in Clayton, where that effort stands today.
Then later at 5, restaurant closed. 5 on your side explains the problem found during a health inspection that led to a restaurant shutting its doors. Just a heads up, the FDA is recalling eggs sold here in North Carolina after a salmonella outbreak. It affects the brand Country Eggs, large brown cage-free Sunshine Yolks, and Omega-3 Golden Yolks. That company is based in California. At least 95 people in the U.S., including 2 here in North Carolina, reported feeling sick after eating these eggs. More than a dozen people have been hospitalized.
We have an important recall to tell you about. The Consumer Product Safety Commission is recalling nearly 800,000 pressure washers over reports of explosions and injuries. TTI Outdoor Power Equipment is recalling some models of its Ryobi branded electric pressure washers. The reason? The capacitors can overheat and burst. The pressure washers were sold at retailers such as Home Depot. So far, there have been 41 reports of explosions, resulting in 32 injuries. You should get rid of it or contact the company for a free repair kit. Taco Bell is rethinking how to use artificial intelligence in some drive-thrus after they did a test run in about 500 locations. Some customers voiced frustrations on social media. Others have trolled the AI order system into submitting fake orders, such as asking for 18,000 cups of water. Executives plan to coach workers on when to use AI and when to have humans take care of orders.
Look, the one thing people are going to do is they're going to test limits. This is kind of funny. Comcast and Amazon announced a deal that brings Peacock to Prime Video channels as an add-on. Now, Prime Video channels that are currently offered right now are HBO Max, Paramount Plus, and Apple TV Plus. Again, these are ones that are accessible through Prime Video. Peacock, which has 41 million subscribers, has largely stayed away from bundling. Starting today, online purchases from overseas will cost Americans more because of new tariffs. The de minimis rule, exempting tariffs on goods $800 or less coming by e-commerce from overseas, it ended today. Shippers such as FedEx or UPS, they may contact customers before delivery to pay the tariff online or even by phone. Now, you can refuse the package if you weren't expecting a tariff and you don't want to pay it. Also, you can expect possible delays on previous orders as sellers reevaluate shipping options and tariff issues too.
It's the unofficial end of summer. Why experts expect the Labor Day travel weekend to break records.
Plus, pain relief. Why one physician says surgery should not be the first step to improve quality of life. And we do have a look at your winning and education lottery numbers.
Get ready for a busy Labor Day weekend at airports all across the country as we take a live look at RDU this afternoon. Beautiful conditions if you are taking a flight out. But I do want to show you some delays and cancellations we're dealing with right now. 21 delays and 3 cancellations at RDU at the moment. So important to always look at your flight before you head out the door. Look at Charlotte right now. 89 delays and 5 cancellations. So if you have a trip out of Charlotte, please check your flight before you head out.
All right, thank you, Michelle. The nation's airports, roadways, and railways are expected to be jam-packed this Labor Day weekend. Gas prices and airfares are down from a year ago as well. And that could mean a potential record-setting Labor Day weekend. Here's NBC's Priya Sridhar.
The TSA is estimating that 17.4 million people will be traveling through their checkpoints over this extended holiday period from yesterday to Wednesday of next week. And actually, the busiest day during that time frame is expected to be today, Friday, with 3 million passengers. Things did get off to a little bit of a bumpy start over in Newark's Liberty International Airport. That was due to equipment issues, communication problems between air traffic controllers and pilots, which led to a ground stop. That resulted in hundreds of flights being delayed, an average of 2.5 hours. But I'm happy to report that since then, there have been no significant issues anywhere else. Experts are saying that this is expected to be potentially a record-breaking Labor Day holiday travel weekend. And the reason for that is because domestic airfare, hotel prices, rental car prices, and gas prices are actually lower this year than they were last year. So if you are planning on hitting the roads to get to your holiday weekend destination, make sure you leave as early as possible to avoid traffic congestion. Back to you.
Now, although no one is certain who actually invented Labor Day, the national holiday celebrates workers and how they have contributed to the strength, the prosperity, and the overall well-being of our country. You can go to WRAL.com for last-minute trip ideas, things to do here in the Triangle, as well as the track of the forecast and the traffic cameras. It's all in the WRAL app. Just search the words Labor Day.
It's been 20 years since Hurricane Katrina made landfall in Louisiana. The Category 3 storm remains the costliest U.S. storm on record, with damage estimated at upwards of $200 billion when adjusted for inflation. The failure of the federal levee system inundated about 80% of the city with floodwaters that took weeks to drain. About 1,400 people died in 5 states. WRAL's Amy Wilmoth gives us a closer look at this devastating storm's path.
It's the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, one of the most impactful hurricanes to make landfall in the United States. So we thought we'd take a look back at the track that Hurricane Katrina took. And it first made landfall. It actually made 3 landfalls. It first made landfall in South Florida, close to Miami, as a Category 1 hurricane back on August 25th. And then what it did was it moved into the Gulf of Mexico, very warm waters. It stalled in the Gulf of Mexico for days, eventually becoming a Category 5 hurricane. And then it made its second landfall on August 29th as a Category 3 hurricane just south of New Orleans. It made its third landfall just north of New Orleans later that day. And what we remember from this storm is the amount of rain and the incredible storm surge, but also the breach of so many levees. Multiple levees were breached in and around the Louisiana area, and that's what caused all that water to flood into numerous cities and bring all of that damage that we saw from Hurricane Katrina. So Florida had impacts, over $500 million in damage, 14 deaths reported. Louisiana definitely felt the brunt of this storm. At one point in time, it had winds at 170 miles per hour. But look at this, the storm surge in parts of Louisiana over 27 feet. Over 1,300 people died from Hurricane Katrina. Now, the government did do some things to help to prevent this from happening again. You can learn more about that. Go to WRAL.com and search Ask the Meteorologist.
State DOT is sharing new information about the progress being made to rebuild I-40 near Pigeon River Gorge following Hurricane Helene. There is continuous damage from the Tennessee state line to mile marker 5. Engineers with the NCDOT say they will be using retaining walls and interlocking pipe pile walls to reinforce a new road. Construction is expected to last through 2028.
President Donald Trump has canceled former Vice President Kamala Harris's Secret Service protection. Former presidents receive Secret Service protection for life. However, federal law says vice presidents receive 6 months of protection after leaving office. Then President Joe Biden signed an executive memorandum in January extending her protection for an additional year. Well, President Trump canceled that order. House Speaker Mike Johnson says more Jeffrey Epstein files will be released.
But they're going through carefully to make sure that the victims of these horrific sex crimes, let's be frank about it, are not exposed. They've already been through harm. And we have a responsibility to do that, so it takes a little time. But we're going to put it all out there and let the American people decide.
The first batch of documents was sent to the House Oversight Committee 1 week ago today. President Trump and other Republicans promised to release the Epstein files if they came to power. However, they have not. Now, Epstein, a registered sex offender, died in prison. His girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, was convicted of conspiring with Epstein to traffic girls for sex.
The college football season is off to a great start for some fans. NC State and Duke won their first games of the season. The Wolfpack squared off with ECU last night at Carter Finley Stadium. It was a rematch of their December game in the Military Bowl, which ECU won. The Wolfpack, though, got revenge on the Pirates last night, winning 24-17. They'll host Virginia next weekend. For Duke, it was a tale of two halves in their season opener. They went into the locker room tied at halftime against Elon. The Blue Devils pulled away in the second half, though. They got the win 45-17. Duke will host Illinois next weekend at Wallace Wade Stadium.
Another week of high school football kicks off tonight. That is why you should be sure to tune into Football Friday tonight at 11:15. Our game of the week will be Providence Day at Roseville. Plus highlights from more of our games from around the area. Just don't miss all that hard-hitting high school football action. It's happening tonight on WRAL.
Relieving chronic pain. Surgery should be your last resort. The options you could try.
Plus, the gray wave. A new NBC documentary looks into why Americans over the age of 65 are at risk of becoming homeless. Remember, you can watch WRAL News live anytime on WRAL.com or the WRAL app on your streaming device. See, you look at this camera and it's like a beautiful day outside. I see someone out there in the field tending to it. It's the perfect day to be outside as you're watching WRAL News, available on YouTube TV and the WRAL app on your TV or your streaming device. Nearly 1 in 4 American adults report living with chronic pain, which is defined as pain that has lasted for 3 months or even longer.
While it can significantly impact a person's quality of life, some fear doctors will tell them that they need surgery. Mandy Gaither explains why one expert says surgery for pain management should rarely be the first step.
When you're dealing with chronic pain, just getting through the day can be a struggle.
It just prevents them from working, prevents them from doing a lot of the things that they like to be doing.
Dr. Brian Braithwaite with Orlando Health Spine Center says instead of seeking care, some may try to deal with the pain, fearing they'll be told that surgery is the answer. But he says that's not always the right one.
Surgery is kind of that last resort. And if you look at statistics, most patients get better. And I'd say probably greater than 80 to 85% of patients with chronic pain get better without ever needing surgery.
Braithwaite says the first step for patients with chronic back and neck pain is to get to the root of the problem. That starts with an x-ray to look at the alignment of the spine. If more information is needed, advanced imaging like a CT scan or MRI are then performed. He says treatment options will vary based on the diagnosis, but could include chiropractic care, massage therapy, dry needling, and acupuncture. For aches or a sprain, he says anti-inflammatory medicines like NSAIDs or other over-the-counter medications could also provide tremendous benefit. And if the pain is keeping a patient up at night, he says muscle relaxers may help.
Quality night of sleep is very important when you have chronic pain because we do want the body's natural mechanisms to kind of kick in and provide some benefit there from a health perspective.
And that was Mandy Gaither reporting. Doctors say if over-the-counter medications do not provide relief, that's a sign to go see an urgent care or a specialist.
All right, we're still covering your Labor Day weekend in terms of traffic and weather as well, as we're getting a live look right now at downtown Cary Park. Grant Skinner has a look of your Labor Day weekend, but also we can expect a little more cooler temperatures as you wake up next week.
The number of homeless Americans over the age of 65 is expected to more than double in the next 5 years. And for many, it's their first time without a stable home.
NBC's Stephanie Gosk traveled to Phoenix, Arizona, where many seniors are spending their golden years trying to find housing and surviving 100-degree days.
Was this the first place you spent a night after being evicted?
Yes.
How did you sleep? I see chairs here. What did you do?
Probably something like this.
Not very comfortable.
No, that's why it was like an hour or two at a time.
In 2021, at 69 years old, Vernon Wedge became homeless for the first time. After losing his eyesight, then his job, then his savings, Vernon was evicted from the Scottsdale, Arizona apartment he shared with his adult son, Grant, and their dog, Roscoe.
This is the apartment building that you were
That we
evicted
got
from.
booted out of, yeah. You know, I was on the waiting list waiting for the shelters to call back, and nobody ever called back.
Vernon scrambled to find a new place to live, but he, Roscoe, and Grant, who was struggling with substance abuse, ended up sleeping in the street. What Vernon thought would just be one night turned into a year. Last year, more than 42,000 Americans over the age of 65 were homeless, and researchers estimate there could be more than 100,000 homeless seniors by 2030. Like Vernon, many of those seniors had never been homeless before.
You can learn more about those stories in the new NBC News digital documentary, The Gray Wave, Rising Homelessness for American Seniors. You can watch and read the full piece on NBCnews.com. Just scan the QR code right there on your screen to watch and read the full piece.
An outpouring of love for America's nicest judge. People from all over the world traveled to Providence, Rhode Island to honor the late Frank Caprio. He was a famous former municipal court judge. You may have known him as the host of Caught in Providence. Judge Caprio's mix of humor and compassion endeared him to millions.
I'm here to pay my respect to a fine judge, a loving judge, a compassionate judge. He had respect for every nationality of peoples, and he was the type of judge, he didn't look down on anyone because he loved everyone and everybody.
Judge Caprio died on August 20th at the age of 88 following a battle with pancreatic cancer.
Yeah, a lot of people love the work that he did. All right, we do want to transition over to our weather forecast with Grant Skinner. You've been following what Labor Day weekend is going to look like, and I see activity there near the Gulf, but it's kind of still pushing out that way.
Yeah, I want to show this first because I know we talked earlier about some delays with travel. You could see some delays as you head into the Gulf Coast. So from, I would say from Lafayette, Louisiana, through southern Mississippi, Mobile, Pensacola, through Panama City, Florida, and through Jacksonville. There's a good stretch of showers and storms along a stalled boundary down along the Gulf Coast. So extra showers and storms there. Fortunately, closer to home, it's really quiet here. High pressure in place temporarily before this cold front works its way in. That cold front's going to usher in some cooler air into next week. But for now, warmer today. Temperatures in the mid to upper 80s across the area. Less cloud cover. No rain expected today. It's going to be a beautiful Friday and another gorgeous weekend ahead with temperatures into the mid 80s to start, but then cooling throughout the weekend. We'll talk more about that in a second. I want to start by taking a look outside from Pinehurst. Lots of golfers out there. I don't blame them. It's a beautiful day for it. It's warming up quickly, but it's a gorgeous day for any outdoor activities. 80 in Raleigh right now, 81 in Goldsboro, Southern Pines at 81 degrees, South Hill and Rocky Mount both at 81 this afternoon. The rest of this evening, maybe having dinner out on the porch. It'll be a nice evening for it. 6, 7, 8 o'clock. Temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, some low 80s by 6 o'clock as well. By 10 p.m., 71 degrees into the upper 60s by late tonight. Also the Bulls game looking like a great evening for that as well. Low 80s by that first pitch. Mid 70s by 8 p.m. It's a wonderful evening for baseball. Go out and enjoy it. Should be wonderful with temperatures in the mid 60s by tomorrow morning. A mild night tonight, a touch warmer than last night, just because we have some extra cloud cover that will move in the morning hours. Not mostly cloudy, but a few clouds that move in. And also, it'll just be more humid and warm ahead of this next front. So 65 by Saturday morning in Raleigh, 65 in Southern Pines, 62 in Rocky Mount, 60 to start your Saturday in our northern spots right along South Hill through Roxborough. 84 degrees for your Saturday with some isolated showers possible. Not a rain out, just brief showers, mainly in our southern and southeastern spots. 81 for Sunday with a couple of brief showers, but a low rain chance then. By Monday, 80 degrees for our high, so cooler by then after that cold front ushers in some cooler air. And watching Tuesday, temperatures in the upper 70s for our highs. Into Tuesday morning, we could have lows into the upper 50s once again. So a cool start to our mornings into the middle portion of the week. Also watching one area in the tropics. It is very far away. It's a tropical wave that'll move off the west coast of Africa on Sunday. A low chance of formation. We're going to watch this over the next several days, but again, a low chance of formation. Not a threat to our area, just something we'll have to watch over the next handful of days. Temperatures in the mid 80s today, some spots in the upper 80s, a bit cooler Saturday, a small rain chance, then cooling off into Monday, Tuesday morning, back to the 50s. If you enjoy those cooler mornings, you're going to have that for the middle portion of next week. More showers and storms into Wednesday, mainly into Thursday of next week.
Thanks, Grant. A run for the money. Officers get quite a workout after a horse takes off in a neighborhood. And this wasn't the first time they encountered it.
As we wrap things up, here's a quick look at just a few of the headlines that we're following here on WRAL News. We're learning more about a fight on NC State's campus after last night's ECU game. Officials say that it was between 4 ECU students and 2 NC State students. The fight prompted a heavy police and first responders presence on Founders Drive. All students were charged with misdemeanor affray. Officers said that the ECU students trespassed on NC State's property.
An early morning fire destroyed a home in a Johnston County community. The call came in just before 2 a.m. for a fire at a home in the Flowers Plantation community. That's near Clayton. You can see the extent of the damage from the video here. Fire crews are calling the home a total loss. Crews on scene told WRAL that the woman living in the home and one dog were able to get out, but a cat is missing. A nearby house also has damage. The cause of the fire is under investigation.
New information in the former Surrey County election official accused of putting drugs in ice cream he bought for his granddaughter and her friend. While investigators say the girls were Yoakley's 16-year-old step-granddaughter and her 15-year-old friend. Police say that he bought a Blizzard ice cream treat for each teenager at Dairy Queen, and surveillance video showed him putting a pill in each one before leaving. Yoakley resigned from his position as chairman of the Surrey County Board of Elections. In his resignation letter, Yoakley said he is confident he will be exonerated.
For the second time in 3 days, officers in Indiana captured a horse running wild through a neighborhood. Police encountered the horse running through a residential area, and they followed her through the streets and were able to contain her in a grassy area. Officers contacted the owner, who picked her up and took her home. So how did police know who to contact? It turns out officers were familiar with this horse because they corralled her on Monday after she was spotted running through downtown.
She just wants some attention.
She wants some adventure.
So our pet of the day has the cutest little face you've probably ever seen. Noodle. Hello, Noodle.
Oh,
There's a collective, oh my gosh, here in the studio. So Noodle comes to us from the SPCA of Wake County. This 5-year-old male guinea pig is an extra large fella and super friendly. Grant Skinner totally wants to adopt this little friend. Noodle behaves wonderfully for being held, and he is a big fan of clementine slices as a treat. Noodle's adoption fee will cost you just $25. $25 to take Noodle home. How about that? Now, if you're interested in Noodle or any other pet, you can contact the SPCA of Wake County. This is a good deal if you ask me, Grant Skinner. I don't know. It's cute.
Noodle, you look like an Oreo or cookies and cream. If you've been thinking about adopting a pet, now is a perfect time to visit your local shelter. This is the last weekend of our month-long Clear the Shelters event. Go to WRAL.com/shelters to see all of the exciting adoption events going on this weekend. Now, earlier we asked you, would you wear white after Labor Day? And it looks like most people are leaning toward, sure, why not? Exactly.
I would.
Do you?
I would. Why not?
And I would wear white when we have, 80 degrees in September. Why not wear white shorts or white pants?
I've had someone go, it's after Labor Day, right? And I go, you know what? If you start paying my bills, you can tell me what I can wear. How about that?
NBC News Daily is next on WRAL. Your next local news update in 30 minutes.
And just a reminder, you can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Hope you have a blessed day.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.